Hey, what's up everybody? Antonio here with another tutorial for you. So today I'm going to show you how to do this. It's a simple 3-chord thing and with some kind of alternative strumming technique that I'll show you guys in detail. So the other day I was sitting on the couch just kind of jamming around and I started doing that, not even realizing what I was doing, and I thought, hey, this would be a cool thing to show you guys. So we're going to be working with 3 chords today: an E minor, which is 2nd finger and 3rd finger, 2nd fret on both, and on the A string and on the D string. So 2nd fret on both strings. There's your E minor. We're going to be using the middle and ring fingers for that on the left hand. Pinky's going to be playing a bass line note on the 3rd fret. So the 2nd chord is an F sharp flat 5 chord. And that looks just like an A minor, but you're fingering it differently. So instead of doing it traditionally where you have 1st finger on the 1st fret and then 2nd and 3rd fingers on the 2nd fret, making that A minor shape, you're actually going to switch out the middle finger and leave it open, and then you're going to use your ring finger and pinky on the 2nd fret, and then you're going to move that middle finger over to the F sharp, which is the 2nd fret on the top string. So E minor to a B7. B7 is simple: 2nd fret A string, index on the D string 1st fret, ring finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, open B, and then pinky on the 2nd fret of the high E string. So again, E minor, F sharp flat 5 to a B7. Okay, so those are the chords for the left hand. Now on the right hand, I'm going to be palm muting here at the bridge, which makes that sound. If you're too far forward, you don't get much of the actual tone of the notes, so you want to be right in the sweet spot. And if you're too far back, then it rings too much. So find a spot where you get a really muffled, muted tone. And you can start practicing. So the right hand is going thumb on the top string, and then the index is scraping down basically the rest of the strings. Sometimes it's all 5 of the remaining strings, sometimes it's 4. It doesn't have to be perfectly exact. It's more of just like being relaxed and feeling into it. And I'm going thumb, down, up, down, down. So that's the first half of it. Thumb, down, up, down, down. All while the muffling is still there. So it's different than when you're holding your fingers up and they're floating for finger picking. You're muffling here. So you need to get that independence of these, the thumb and the index finger working independently. So that first half is thumb, down, up, down, down, followed by thumb, down, thumb, down. Thumb, down, up, down, down, thumb, down, thumb, down. And that's what the right hand is doing the whole time. So then when I add the chords, okay, so then I have a slightly different bass line going on here. Instead of just sticking on the high E or on the low E string, I'm actually hitting the A string as well. So it's going down, thumb, down, up, down, down, thumb. So I'm breaking it into 2 sections that one cycle of the strumming is going. Okay, there's the first half. Then I have the pinky hits the G string, or the pinky hits the E string 3rd fret, and then the thumb hits the A string, and the E minor chord is still being held, so you're hitting the 2nd fret. Okay, so break that down again. Okay, so you might just want to work on just doing that on loop a bunch of times. It'll sound like this. One more time. thumb, down, up, down, down, thumb, down, thumb, down. And you'll hear this happening in the bass line. Okay, so now we're going to add the F sharp flat 5. So I did, then I switched chords. So the first half of that second cycle is the F sharp flat 5. Then on the second half of that cycle, it's the B7. So breaking down the F sharp and the B, you're doing the first section of the thumb, down, up, down, down on the F sharp flat 5, and then the thumb down on the B7 chord. Okay, so get that down solid. You can break it up. I often break sections up into halves, so that way I'm really solidly getting one part and then getting the second part, and then I kind of bridge the transition, and then I work the whole thing in cycles. Ideally, where you want to get is to where that's just running on autopilot, and you can be talking to somebody, thinking, just your mind can do that without too much effort. Kind of like this, where I'm talking to you right now. I messed up, but kind of like this, where I'm talking to you right now and I'm playing it. And F sharp flat 5, B7, E minor, F sharp flat 5, B7. So so just practice that cycle over and over again. And that's the first part where it's palm muted. Now for the second part, when I open up the strings and I'm not muting anymore, I'm doing a pattern of okay, so what's going on there, the kind of fancy part of that is the arpeggio of the thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index. And I'm doing it really fast. And to build that up in tempo at medium speed, you're really going to have to practice that arpeggio, which is simply just doing, so go ahead and hold an E minor chord, and then you're hitting the D string, G string, B string, E string, and you're doing thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index. Okay, so that's the exercise to get you up to this. And it becomes just like this really fast kind of effect that goes within a small amount of timing. So assuming you got that, you practiced that enough, so you can put it anywhere in there. For the sake of practicing something to begin with, you can do. So that's all on the E minor. So I'm essentially keeping my index, middle, and ring assigned to the bottom 3 strings, and the thumb is the one bouncing around. Okay, so thumb, arpeggio, thumb, block, thumb, block. Same thing for the second half. So that's the two parts, the palm muted and the fingering. So hopefully you can pick that up. Again, you're going to really want to practice this arpeggio of thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index. do that thousands and thousands of times. You can do it with just your first finger on the second fret of the D string, focusing on the bottom 4 strings. I recommend doing it with the metronome, so that way you're doing it in time consistently and it's not just a mess of, uncoordinated strikes on the strings. So start mellow and slow with just, you can think of Metallica, Nothing Else Matters. It's that same pattern. Doing it over and over and over and over and over again, and building up speed with the metronome to where you get to the point of a. Now, if you can't get that and you still want to do this exercise, you can try. And that's thumb, block, block, block. So I'm blocking the bottom 3 strings. Again, those 3 fingers are assigned to the bottom 3 strings. And the thumb is doing the kind of bass line switching around on different strings. And I'm going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 that matches the 1. Cool, so I'm gonna leave you guys with that. That's plenty to practice. Give it a week or 2 of just repetition. Every chance you get, sit down on the couch, grab your guitar, do 20 or 30 cycles of it, and then go about your day. Have a guitar next to you and just grab it and do that. You can also do it like on your leg at the grocery store when you're in line. I often practice my fingering without a guitar just because I want my attention constantly developing my coordination of my fingers. So I will do it on the table, I will do it on a book. Sometimes I drive people a little nuts because I'm scratching on stuff. I'll do it on my phone, grab my phone and I'll have my thumb hitting right here and then my index finger and ring and middle on the bottom, and I'll just doom da 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 boom da boom da boom da 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 boom da boom da, or boom ba boom ba boom ba boom ba boom ba boom ba. So you can really practice without the guitar. That really helped me get these arpeggio patterns quicker, develop the muscle memory quicker, is by practicing it a lot on the guitar, but then also just practicing it on my leg, practicing it on my hand, practicing it on the table. So put your time in. That's the only way you're going to get it. Nobody can give you a lesson. You're going to be able to rip all this stuff quickly. Be patient with yourself, believe in yourself, and enjoy it. Just have fun with it. It's okay if you mess up. I mess up all the time. I mess up in these lessons sometimes, and you know what? Who cares? It's part of life. We just keep moving forward. So I hope that was enjoyable for you, and I hope you dig it. Please subscribe to the channel if you're digging these YouTube tutorials, and enable notifications. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. If I'm speaking too fast, if I should slow down, give me that feedback so that way I can really dial in these tutorials to serve you. That's why I'm doing it. So blessings, you all. Have a beautiful rest of your day.